Okay, let's dive straight in today. We're looking at some pretty staggering news in the financial world. Bitcoin recently just smashed through its previous records, hitting a new high. What was it? Over $117,000.
That's right, 117,333 to be precise. A really significant number.
And it's not just Bitcoin. The entire crypto market's value has ballooned to, I think, $3.67 trillion.
An incredible figure, yeah, $3.67 trillion.
So the big question, the one we're tackling today, is what on earth is fueling this, well, massive surge?
Well, a lot of this optimism, and you can really feel it in the market, it seems to stem directly from Washington, actually. There's a series of highly anticipated legislative moves happening in the U.S. Congress right now.
Ah, okay. Regulation talk again.
Exactly. But this time feels different, potentially a real turning point for digital assets.
Right. So for this deep dive, our mission is really to cut through all the noise surrounding this. We're going to unpack these specific policy changes everyone's watching, look at how the market's reacting, maybe even getting ahead of itself.
Front running, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. And crucially, we also need to touch on what the skeptics are saying, the potential downsides. We're pulling insights from, recent financial news, market analysis, places like the Economic Times.
And our goal for you listening in is to really understand the core drivers here. We want to equip you with the knowledge to grasp what's actually happening behind the headlines and, why it matters for the bigger financial picture.
Okay, so let's pull back that curtain first up. Crypto Week in the House of Representatives. This seems to be the epicenter of all the excitement. What exactly is going on legislatively?
Well, the digital asset industry, as you know, they've been asking, maybe even demanding, a clear U.S. regulatory framework for years now. It's been a constant refrain, and Congress is finally really debating a series of crypto bills that might actually deliver that clarity. The hope, at least within the industry, is that these policy wins could, well, open the floodgates for new investment. Significant investment.
And this isn't happening in some quiet back room, is it? We're seeing some very high-profile support. I mean, President Donald Trump has basically called himself the crypto president, hasn't he? Urging lawmakers to change the rules for the industry.
He has, yes.
Yeah.
That's a very public stance.
And we should probably note he's got skin in the game himself, right? Involved in crypto ventures like World Liberty Financial, which his sons run. What does that kind of endorsement signal?
It definitely signals a major political shift, or at least a potential one. It suggests a move towards maybe greater mainstream acceptance if the legislation actually passes. And during this crypto week, as it's being called, Congress is expected to vote on 3 really key bills. The first one, and arguably the biggest deal, is the Genius Act. Its focus is entirely on creating federal rules for stablecoins.
The Genius Act. Okay, stablecoins. Now, most listeners probably have a sense of what they are, but what's the specific regulatory headache they cause that this bill tackles? Why now?
That's a key question.
Yeah.
So stablecoins, right, they're designed to hold a steady value, usually pegged 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar. They're super useful for traders moving funds around, and proponents think they could be huge for instant payments down the line. But the headache, the challenge, has always been trust. Like, are they really backed by what they say they are?
Right, the transparency issue.
Exactly. The Genius Act hits this directly. It would mandate that stablecoins be backed by genuinely liquid assets, think actual U.S. dollars, short-term treasury bills. And, crucially, issuers would have to publicly disclose what's in their reserves every single month.
So it sounds like they're trying to build some guardrails, make it feel a bit more solid, less like the Wild West, beyond just making stablecoins seem more legit. What's the real game changer if the Genius Act passes? Does it actually unlock that institutional money everyone talks about?
That's certainly the argument from the crypto side. They believe these rules wouldn't just legitimize stablecoins. They'd make traditional players, banks, retailers, maybe even regular consumers much more comfortable using them. It's about bringing in a level of, let's say, financial discipline that's been kind of lacking.
Okay.
And this bill, interestingly, seems to have support across the aisle in the Senate. It's expected to pass the House, and President Trump has already said he'd sign it. So it feels like a big step towards integration. All right, next on the docket is the Clarity Act. This one's broader. It aims to set up a wider regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies in general, and it would also expand the oversight role of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC.
Ah, the CFTC. Now, this touches on that classic, almost philosophical debate, doesn't it? Is a crypto token a security like a stock, or is it a commodity like oil or gold? How does this Clarity Act try to settle that?
Precisely. That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the trillion-dollar question now. So right now, so many projects exist in this gray zone. Are they under the SEC's rules for securities, which are pretty strict, or the CFTC's rules for commodities, often seen as, well, a bit lighter?
A huge difference in practice.
Absolutely. The Clarity Act aims to draw that line much more clearly, to define when a crypto asset is a security and when it's a commodity. It's about providing a clearer roadmap, basically. Crypto companies, generally, they've argued most tokens should be commodities, as that usually makes it easier to offer them to customers.
I see.
So this bill is also expected to clear the House. But it still needs to get through the Senate before it could land on President Trump's desk. And then there's a third bill being discussed, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. Now, the sources we looked at didn't go into as much detail on this one's specific provisions, but its name definitely suggests a focus on, well, concerns around central bank digital currencies and potential government oversight.
Okay, so you've got all this legislative action, all this potential change brewing. The inevitable question then is, how has the market actually responded on the ground?
With quite a bit of enthusiasm, you could say.
Yep.
As we mentioned, Bitcoin hit that new record high, $117,333.32. It's up, 26% for the year overall, but it surged nearly 41% in just the last 3 months. That's rapid movement.
Wow, 41% in 3 months.
Yeah. And this isn't just a Bitcoin story. It's triggered a much broader rally across the crypto space. A lot of it seems fueled by steady, strong inflows into those Bitcoin spot ETFs, the exchange-traded funds. They make it easier for traditional investors to get exposure.
Right, so it's lifting the whole tide then, not just the biggest boat.
Hmm.
What other coins or crypto-related areas are seeing a boost from all this legislative buzz?
Oh yeah, it's pretty widespread. Ether, the number 2 token, was up over 5%. XRP gained almost 10%. Solana saw a smaller bump, under 1%, but still positive. And it's even spilling over into the stock market. On U.S.-listed crypto stocks, got a lift. You know, companies that hold Bitcoin-like strategy were up nearly 2%. Crypto miners, Riot platforms, Hut 8, Mara Holdings, they saw gains between, say, 0.7% and 1.6%.
So the miners are up too?
Yep. And that brings the total market value for the whole sector up to that massive $3.67 trillion figure we started with.
It really does sound like the market isn't waiting for the final vote counts. It's like it's pricing in these changes already, front-running the news, as you said.
Exactly right. Jag Cooner over at Bitfinex, he's the head of derivatives there, he put it quite well. He said, even if final passage stalls, the optics of legislative engagement are bullish. Just the fact that Congress is seriously talking about it is boosting sentiment.
Optics matter.
They do. And Dan Coatsworth, an analyst at AJ Bell, echoed that. He noted that investors are racing to take positions ahead of the extra publicity this event could attract. It's a bit of a feedback loop, you know. Anticipation drives prices, which draws more attention.
Okay, but whenever you see this kind of rapid surge, this much optimism packed into a short time, you have to wonder of the flip side. There must be voices saying, hang on a second. What are the red flags? What are the counter-arguments?
You're right, there absolutely are cautionary voices. While everyone agrees the regulatory news has helped prices, some analysts are definitely warning that the hype might be getting ahead of the actual fundamental reality, especially as crypto gets more tangled up with the traditional financial system. For example, Dirk Willer, he's the global head of macro strategy at Citi AG. He recently stated that calling Bitcoin digital gold is, in his words, likely premature.
Okay, likely premature. That's quite a different tune than the market seems to be singing right now. So if it's not quite digital gold yet, what's the main disconnect? What are today's buyers maybe overlooking, according to the skeptics?
I think the biggest thing they point to is just the sheer raw volatility that still characterizes crypto.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone away. Simon Peters, he's a crypto analyst at eToro, he put it bluntly. It's hard not to be optimistic about Bitcoin at this moment. But the risk of a fall in price or short-term pullback still exists.
Right, the classic crypto roller coaster.
Exactly. So the caution is, weigh your time horizon really carefully. Understand that these big gains can sometimes be followed by pretty sharp corrections. Don't just jump in blindly.
And it's not just about market dynamics, is it? There are political criticisms bubbling up too, specifically around the Trump administration's very open pro-crypto stance.
Yes, definitely. Critics, like Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, for instance, have voiced concerns. They argue the administration might be giving away too much to the crypto industry. Potentially, they say, at the expense of protecting consumers, protecting everyday retail investors. Senator Warren suggested that what she sees happening is, quote, another industry handout that gives the crypto lobby exactly its wish list. So that's a viewpoint focused on whether policy is being driven by lobbying or by broader public good.
And tied into that, there were those ethics concerns raised earlier about President Trump's family having their own crypto ventures, potential conflicts of interest there.
Indeed, that point has been raised by political opponents and some ethics watchdogs. It's part of the political debate surrounding this. Now, the White House position on that has been clear. They state there are no conflicts of interest and that the president's assets are managed independently in a trust by his children.
Okay.
But it's definitely crucial as you navigate this to be aware of all these different angles, the market excitement, the details, the proposed regulations, and these political and ethical critiques. It gives you a much fuller, more balanced understanding.
So, wrapping things up, we've looked at the legislative gears turning in Washington. We've seen Bitcoin ride this new wave of optimism to record highs, but we've also heard those important notes of caution from the skeptics. It's definitely a landscape in flux, lots of potential, clearly, but also pretty significant risks still involved.
What's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how just the anticipation of clear rules like the Genius Act for stablecoins or the Clarity Act trying to define assets, how that alone can have such a profound impact on market feeling, on valuations, even before anything is officially law. And that, leads to a bigger question.
Right. If we get this more defined regulatory framework, considering all the debate about stability and investor protection, how might that ultimately reshape what crypto is? Its fundamental nature, its perception, going beyond just the price tag. That's definitely something for you to think about as these major developments continue to unfold and as crypto keeps trying to find its place in the wider financial world.